go down to Rome's. Let's try this again because I feel like I almost spread fake news because the Vikings didn't play the Saints in 2023. They played the Saints in 2022 over in London. But 2023 was the Josh Dobbs game where he was really good in the first half, and then Jameis almost led the Saints all the way back. Where remember, the passionate phenomenon really was about 5 quarters of really good football. I mean, 3 against the Falcons, 2 against the Saints. That's it. That's at. But Vikings internationally, they have a long storied history of going abroad, as the historical Vikings did, notably the England, right? But the Vikings could potentially be in line for yet another international game because what better way to grow the brand of the NFL worldwide than putting Mr. Worldwide out there, JJ McCarthy, because he's the hottest star in the universe, or something like that. But Ben Gessling Strib. The Vikings have 3 2025 road opponents: the Chargers, Brazil, Browns, London, Steelers, Dublin, who are hosting international games this season. Given the fact that they just went to London last season, the Vikings might not be on the NFL's international slate in 2025, but it's logistically possible for them to play overseas this year. So 3 of the 9 Vikings road games could be international, right? So they got a shot to do that. And I actually don't mind when the Vikings have 9 road games if one of them is turned into a neutral site because it affects the home team just as much, and it's perfectly fine. Plus, the Vikings do have a history of playing well internationally. All 4 games have been in England. 2011, the 0-3 Vikings beating the 0-3 Steelers. Just like, hey, Britain, suck it. You get a combined 0-6 teams. Greg Jennings had himself a ball game. Oh, that was a game where Matt Castle actually played well. Right? It was a weird season. 2017, during the Magic Carpet Ride, you had the Vikings and Case Keenum doing really well against the Browns. Adam Jerome, Ezekiel Thielen doing the soccer slide in Tottenham Stadium. Yeah. And that was the game that pissed me off too because there was garbage time at the end, and Everson got dinged up on like the last play of the game. Affected him the rest of the year. That was annoying, man. 2022, first year of the Kevin O'Connell regime. The Vikings took it to the Saints on the double doink, and Marcus Davenport having his half sack season. That was good. Congratulations. 2024. Vikings with a walk-off interception, Gilly against Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. Also, this is a revenge game for Darnold. He did not play well. This is like the first game of the season that Darnold did not play well, and there will be a couple more. Yeah. But the Vikings 4-0 in international games, all in London, and the storylines are there. So the NFL is going to do like they did last year, where the Friday game of Week 1 is going to be in Brazil. Last year it was at Corinthians Stadium, where you can't wear green because of the gang affiliation. So let's send the Packers and the Eagles. Good times. So after the Thursday night game where the alleged Super Bowl champions host, the Chargers are going to host that Friday game down in Brazil, and it would make sense. Like J.J. McCarthy jumping Jim Harbaugh, that whole connection is something that the NFL certainly could explore or exploit. Or, I mean, do they put the Chargers home game against the Chiefs down there? I feel like that would be a huge competitive disadvantage for the Chargers, not getting the Chiefs at home. But still, who knows? Then you got the Browns. You could have the Andrew Berry Bowl. You could have the Myles Garrett Bowl. You could have the whatever bowl. But, Kwesi against his former team could do that up. Or, hell, maybe Darnold ends up with the Browns. Or Darnold ends up with the Steelers. Now, I will say that the Vikings probably won't play in London 2 years in a row. But I think the Vikings-Steelers definitely could be a possibility. Because, well, you could have the Darnold storyline. But also, just boiling it down to the most base elements, it's just like Kevin O'Connell, JJ McCarthy, just trying to sell it to that Irish fan base. So there you go. Now, I understand, like, growing the game internationally, it's important. Look how the NBA has grown. Like, frankly, the NBA would be dead without international interest, right? International players coming in. And ideally, like 10, 15 years from now, are we going to be getting nose tackles from India? Are we going to get offensive guards from Brazil? Probably not, because everyone in Brazil is like 5'8". But I understand just trying to touch all these fan bases that are growing, because there is a pretty significant Vikings fan base in the UK and Ireland. They have a great group that really get after things, and also Vikings Brazil. There's a lot of loud and proud fans down there. The other football is still king, but American style football, notably Vikings football, is very popular as well. Not as popular as Timberwolves Brazil. Rest in power, but it's good. I would actually be willing to wager that the NFL will send the Vikings down to play the Chargers in Brazil, because it's a non-conference, non-divisional game. Plus, the Harbaugh and the McCarthy storylines will just be too much. It'll be too much for them to ignore. So, Vikings fans, start learning Portuguese and don't wear green. Should be easy to do. Yeah. Anyways, your thoughts are thoughts. Vikings could be going abroad again in 2025. Let us know your thoughts. Our thoughts, comment section. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skull production value.